Hey there everyone, it's Matt from Creative Reviews, and today I'm doing a comparison between the iPad 2nd generation and the iPad 3rd generation. The date is August 10th, 2012, and I'm going to be comparing these two because, if you guys don't know, Apple is going to be releasing a 7-inch iPad, and there's going to be many more reviews to be done about the comparisons between the two sizes, the possible different resolutions, and all this. I decided, hey, let's keep it simple. These two are the same size. The resolutions are different. The battery life is a lot different. But, of course, more on that as we go through. But they're the same size. So we're going to keep it that way. This is going to be a very simple comparison. And first, let's start with the screen. That's what we all care about. This is the 2nd generation's resolution. You can also see myself back there. You can see the pixels in it, and if you look very close and hold it about maybe half an arm's length away, which is where you usually would see it, you can see pixels, and it does take away from the experience of using this tablet, just like any other tablet, like your phone, like any other whatever you use that is digital that has pixels. You also have the 3rd generation here, and if I can get it as close as I can, you cannot see any pixels. I'm getting as close as I possibly can, and the pixels, oh, there you can see them now, but they're extremely fine in comparison, and they are about 4 times as packed as the 2nd generations. Now, if you don't know anything about this, the resolution, it's the amount of pixels that are there. And if you want more specifics and specs on these, I'm going to be making more reviews on this, but these are just easy comparisons, maybe to help you shop for one or the other. Let's talk price, since we're talking shopping. The one on the left, the 2nd generation, starts from $399 and works its way up all the way up to around $800. The new one on the right starts at $499 and again works its way up to around $900. These all come in options of 3G and 4G. 4G for the new one, 3G for the old. You can also get each of these in Wi-Fi only, and you can get them in the different sizes. You can get them 16, 32, or 64 gigabytes. It does not change anything other than the size of the capacity of these. Changing it in any other way does not make it heavier, does not make the battery last any better or worse. More differences on this would be the battery life. I have been using these two devices for months, and I can easily say that the one on the left, the 2nd generation, lasts a lot longer than the one on the right. This also goes on with charging. I've had both of them at 10% and charging them the exact same way. It takes a lot longer for it to get to 100% on the 3rd generation than it does on the 2nd. Day-to-day use, I can put the 2nd generation on full brightness and it works out fine, and I can use it for a full day or even more without charging it. On the other hand, this one on full brightness, it does not last a full day. It has a much better processor. I believe it's an A5X. It's just a very it has improved graphics in compared to the A5 chip in the 2nd generation. But you really don't see any difference. And that's what they want you to do, because it's not really going to make viewing anything more. It's just that there's more pixels to work with on the newer one. So they wanted to keep the quality of video watching, game playing, etc. consistent. And they really do. There are some improvements with the 3rd generation, you can see, but it doesn't get any worse, which is one of those things that you really would care about. Now let's talk about weight. This is my workhorse. I take it with me everywhere. I turn the 3G on everywhere. And sometimes I don't even use a case on it because it is very, very light. Again, if you want the specs, I'll be making more of these, or check these up online. Apple.com has all of them. It's very light, it's very airy, and you can easily hold it in one hand and just carry it around. You can also hold it up and read things, and it does not give your arm too much fatigue. I just did an e-reader comparison. It's not the same as that, but it does not give you much arm fatigue. This one, you'll see that it's not much heavier on paper, but once you get it in your hand, you'll see that it is heavier significantly because it just gives your arm more fatigue. Again, the numbers are so close that you would think it doesn't make a difference, but it's something that you hold in one hand, and it does make it, you know, a little bit of a burden, I gotta say. When I did pick up this third generation comparison to the second generation, I noticed how much heavier this one was. And it really kind of does take away from the experience of using a tablet, because you want to be very portable and just a screen. Now, if you don't know anything about the story of the iPad third generation, the screen got better, but the screen technology that they used made the iPad a fraction thicker. So you can see, bump, bump, bump. It's not a perfect thing. And of course, these are things that may seem irrelevant, but it does actually change your, the way you use it. They are about the same. The tapering on the sides is a little bit different. It's more tapered here, and it's more of a hard angle on here. But going back to the story, they use a different screen technology on this one than they wanted to, because they couldn't get the panels for it in as much mass production as they wanted to. So they went for a thicker screen. It made it heavier. They had to put a bigger battery in it than what it needs. That's why the battery doesn't last as long. And if you want to go with rumors or anything, I would possibly hold off on purchasing an iPad 3, because there are very, very substantial rumors that there's going to be an updated version of the iPad 3 with the different screen technology. It will make it thinner, lighter, and have better battery life. I gotta say that the screen on this is one of the most beautiful things that I've ever seen. If you can't wait, I can perfectly understand it. Because after using this, it makes everything else just look old and archaic and not as clear or bright or anything of that. But there are rumors where they're going to change it and do a minor update in the iPad 3, possibly with a different dock connector, because the new iPhone 5 will have a smaller dock connector. It's no longer going to be these pins, as you can see from here's the old one. It's going to be more like a magnet type, pop in, pop out. It's going to be maybe about half the size and no clip. It's just going to magnetize or whatever into it. But that's more about that. In comparison, the two of these do very well. If you want to get one for work, I suggest this one. It's cheaper. If it falls down, you're going to feel less bad about dropping it. This one I would use for all your media consumption. The battery lasts not as long, so keep it by a plug, because you're going to want to use this all the time. And if you want to take it out, just be warned, it's not going to work as long as this one. I take this one out all the time during the day. I love to have it, but I wish I had the resolution of this. Now, I may just be nitpicky, but I do like taking this out more, and I think it's a more outside-friendly tablet than this one. Talking about the screen, talk about the resolution, but remember, these are tablets, so if you want to use them outside, they're not going to do that well in direct sunlight. It's going to wash it out. But what I've seen is that it does wash out the new screen more than it does the old screen. It could just because of the clarity of the picture on here, where this has not so much clarity, so you really don't see the difference, but just in my opinion, that I've done a lot of work outside, and this does better. Of course, you have all the applications that you have on here. Because of the Retina display, all the applications have grown in size if they are Retina display compatible. Again, this is the Retina display, the 3rd generation. That means all files have now gotten bigger, no matter if you're using a Retina display application on the new iPad or the old iPad. So I would start going for larger capacities if you can. If you can, get the 64 gigabyte, because it'll help you a lot more. It'll help you put a lot more on here. And I know you may think, hey, I'm just going to get a bargain one, get it for $4.99 or $3.99, depending on which model you want to get. But it's not going to last you as long as you think. It's not an iPhone or an iPod Touch, where the applications are going to be smaller and your video files are going to be smaller because you may put standard definition. You want to see these in high definition video or applications, and you're going to want to use it for a lot of media consumption. You're going to want to have as many gigabytes of storage as possible. One more thing about the two of these. Again, 3G optional or Wi-Fi, or 4G optional and Wi-Fi. My personal preference is this is a very portable device. Both of them are, no matter what gripes I have with either of them. You want both of these with either 3G or 4G. Both of them are extremely fast. Both of them both of them have great applications that take advantage of 3G with your GPS and everything that has all the gyroscopic technology inside, and you can do a lot of things on the go with Google Maps or whatever map service they'll have in the near future. Just be on the lookout. iOS 6 will have turn-by-turn navigation for your iPad and everything else, and Siri will be coming to the iPad 3. So I suggest, even if you're not going to use the 4G, you don't have to get a yearly contract. You can just get a month-to-month contract and get whatever kind of data that you want, but you'll be very happy because you'll be able to have all the usability of your home Wi-Fi in your applications everywhere, and it does make it very useful. They come in very good packages. Both come from AT&T and Verizon. You have the option to choose, and both have different data tiers from 250 megabytes to about 10 gigabytes depending on your provider. Alright, I have another thing about the 3rd generation, which is another good point for it. If you do get 4G, you also get hotspots. You cannot get that on a 3G or on any AT&T tablet, even if it is a 4G AT&T. It's only good on the Verizon 4G, where you get free wireless hotspots, meaning that if you have your 4G on here, you can use the Wi-Fi on here through the data plan on this one, and it's all free. So if I'm using 4G on here and we're outside, let's say in a park, my friend can also use their iPad or whatever device to speed up their internet research or do whatever they want. But again, that's only available on the 4G iPad 3 by Verizon. All in all, the iPad, I would have to say, is the best tablet out there. You may think otherwise. You may be a Sony fan, and I do like the ergonomics of the Sony tablet. I'm not sure which one that would be, but it does look like a folded newspaper, and I do like the way you can hold it. But you can hold these ones very easily too. And easily you can get one of the covers. I very much suggest you get a smart cover for anything you want, so you don't get any accidental scratchings on the front. Both have very sturdy glass and will not get scratched by simple things, but if you drop it, it's gone. These are very delicate tablets. You can be kind of rough with them, but if you drop it, like I've had one in the past that I dropped it or banged it in a wall, it got a dent here and a little chip, Thankfully no cracks, but I've seen people that drop it from, you know, holding it by their side, dropping it down, and it has cracked the screen. Just be very careful with them. They feel very sturdy in your hand. You're going to be very happy with them, but again, be kind. In comparison to other tablets, like the Samsung tablets, also have one of those. It does very well. The Samsung tablet is thinner, but the resolution and the screen quality is not as good. The iPad 3 beats them out by far. It also beats them out on battery life as well, and price. You can get, again, the second generation iPad starting at $399, going all the way with 3G and 64 gigabytes to around the 800s. The 4G, or the iPad 3 starts at $499. It can go all the way up to the 900s with 4G and 64 gigabytes. So in comparison, there's a lot to talk about these. There's going to be more of these coming out, more direct reviews of each one individually, and more comparisons. So this has been Matt doing a comparison between the iPad 2nd generation and the iPad 4th generation. And just to let you know, this one is a 64 gigabyte Verizon 4G iPad 3, and this one is a 32 gigabyte AT&T 3G. So I'm going to be doing some connections, cellular connection comparisons in the future too. But find me on Twitter, Facebook, WordPress. Like this, dislike it, comment, and let me know how I'm doing. Alright, I'll see you guys next time.